What if I told you that you are being spied on? This means in your house, you're being spied on. This means your cell phone conversations, your text messages, your emails, even ports inside the United States, according to reports, are being spied on. We are being tracked. Now, I want to break down what's going on, where this is all coming from, and what the U.S. House of Representatives is now planning to do. Again, this is really concerning. I know I'm affected. You're probably affected as well, especially if you have an iPhone, you have an Android, you have a Google Pixel. Okay? You have any of those phones, you're probably being tracked. If you have any type of security camera like Ring, okay, Arlo, Blink, you use any of those cameras, you're probably affected as well. Now, I'm going to break all this down in just a moment, explain what is going on and what we could actually do about this. So, I'll explain all this in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So what in the world is going on? How are we being spied on in our own homes? What is going on? What in the world is happening right now? Well, I want to show you a few things. First off, it all stems from this. It says at least 8 U.S. telecom firms breached by China hacking campaign. This is according to the White House about 4 days ago. Now, we have learned, and the FBI has been telling us that we should protect our communications, especially on our phone. If you have an iPhone, don't text an Android user sensitive information. If you are an Android user, don't send an iPhone user sensitive information, because this can all be tracked because it's not encrypted. It means you're not protected. But look at what the House Representative is planning on doing. It says U.S. House to vote to provide $3 billion to remove Chinese telecoms equipment. But why? Well, according to reports, according to what the FBI has said, is that it could be sometime before we remove all the hacking, all the sensitive information, all the potentially corrupt software, whatever, from these telecoms. Now, I want to read this to you. Look at this right here. It says the 1,800-page text was released late Saturday and includes other provisions aimed at China, including requiring a report on Chinese efforts to evade U.S. national security regulations and an intelligence assessment of the current status of China's biotechnology capabilities. It says the Federal Communications Commission has said removing the insecure equipment is estimated to cost $4.98 billion, but Congress previously only approved $1.9 billion for the Rip and Replace program. Again, trying to replace this Chinese technology so they stop spying on us. But here's where things get really out of control. Look at this. This article right here, it's from September 18th. It says U.S. and allies seize control of massive Chinese tech spying network. It says the FBI director, this is Christopher Wray, he said that it's just one round of a much longer fight. Now, what's going on today? Well, look at this right here. It says U.S. House committees reveal Chinese manufactured cargo equipment at ports pose cyber and espionage threats. Keep in mind, this is back on September 13th of 2024. Now, why am I even showing you this? Well, it's because of other equipment that is manufactured in China. Components of products that are, again, manufactured in China. The United States wants to get rid of all this, move away from Chinese-made goods. The problem here is that Chinese-made goods are still so much less expensive than the same goods we produce right here inside the United States or in many other countries. Look at this right here. This says, ring the alarm. 87% of Americans don't know how their doorbell camera data is being stored. Do you have a Ring camera? Do you use something like Blink or Wise or Arlo? If you have a security camera inside your house, chances are I don't want to say you're being spied on, but there is spying capabilities within the products that you use. If you have a Ring doorbell camera, which according to reports, there's about 10 million American households that have a Ring doorbell camera on their home. Okay? Now, this is concerning because not only can they see what you are seeing out of your camera, they can also hear. Okay? Just think about this for a second. How many people do you know that have a Ring camera, Arlo, a Wise camera, a Blink camera, any type of internet security camera? Okay? If it's not a closed circuit camera, then chances are you are getting all your information that's being stored online. Uses Chinese components. That's the real worry. Look at this article right here. It says Chinese espionage campaign scooped up data on thousands of U.S. mobile phone users. This, again, was just from a handful of days ago. This is what we're talking about. Okay? I want to read a little bit of this to you. It says U.S. officials suspect that a recently discovered Chinese hacking and espionage campaign scooped up data on hundreds of thousands of American mobile phone users, likely stealing information about more than 1 million customers. 1 million. This is including, some of the telecommunications companies like Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, okay, Lumen Technologies, right? These are some massive companies, and yet we can't even protect ourselves. That's the concern. Now, I want to share one other thing with you, okay? Because everyone's going to ask, well, if they're spying on inside of our homes, potentially spying on our cell phone conversations, okay, why don't we just use phones and stuff that are not made in China? Well, here's what you need to understand, okay? Cell phones, the majority of cell phones, are actually not made in China, okay? You may not realize this. Apple, okay, their phones are not made in China. According to reports, it says that about 25% of Apple's iPhones, okay, are actually, the components are manufactured in China. Okay? Chinese components make about 25%. That's it. The other 75% are usually manufactured in India, Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam. Okay? Here's the problem. Your iPhone already costs, $1,100? Okay? I don't know what I paid for mine. But let's say it costs $1,100 or $1,300. I think let's say $1,000, right? So it costs $1,000. The reason why Apple can't make those products here inside the United States is because that price would balloon. It would go up way too quick, where those phones potentially might not be feasible for the majority of Apple users. Same thing with an Apple Watch, okay? Apple computers. They're using Chinese technology, Chinese components, because they are more affordable that way. That is just Apple. Let's just Google Pixel, for example. Google Pixel, they're manufactured by both China and Vietnam. Google actually began assembling Pixel phones in China in 2016, but moved part of the production over to Vietnam a handful of years ago, like right before the pandemic. So that's kind of where we're at. But here's the big concern, okay? Right now, we know that there are potential spying and hacking campaigns out there. We've heard from the FBI. We've heard from the Department of Homeland Security. We've heard from the White House several times over the past couple of years that there is a high likelihood that these hackers are still in the system. It's just a matter of when they decide to actually attack. As of right now, we've been fairly fortunate according to reports, but experts say if the United States and China, for whatever reason, at whatever time, do not get along, and there's threats from the United States against China, which could include that China tries to, pretty much invade Taiwan and reunify it with mainland China. If that happens and the United States steps in, China will likely say, you know what? We're going to shut down your telecommunications. We're going to shut down all your transportation. We're going to stop all the cranes over on the ports on the West Coast. Or potentially, we are going to hack into your televisions, your cell phones, your internet, your water supply. We're going to do all that stuff, shut it all down, and then see what happens. Yeah, it's concerning. So, when I tell you that we are now seeing that China is hacking into our cell phones, spying on us through cameras and listening devices, how concerned are you? Let me know down in the comment section below. Again, I'm not telling you all this information to freak you out. I'm telling you this because right now, this article, okay, the U.S. House to provide $3 billion to remove Chinese telecoms equipment. This right here is potentially just the first step before we do something bigger and really was going to change the landscape of what we buy here in the United States. But again, as of right now, it's just Chinese products are more affordable, so that's why we continue to use them. But if you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. But that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.